asked for awakening, but you are screaming because it is actually happening. This is the great paradox of the spiritual path. We pray for transformation, we chant for the rising of energy, but when the structure of our life actually begins to collapse, we panic. We call it a crisis. We call it a breakdown. Think about nature. Does the caterpillar retain its form to become a butterfly? No. It dissolves. It becomes a soup of unidentifiable cells before it reconstructs. If you are currently feeling like everything you know is turning to ash, if you feel like you are losing your mind or your footing, I want you to stop resisting. You are not under attack. You are under reconstruction. The Kundalini is not punishing you. It is incinerating everything that is not you. Welcome back. If you have been following our discussions on the nervous system and spiritual warfare, you know we have been dismantling the idea that we need to protect ourselves from the world. Today, we are turning that lens inward. We are going to talk about the most terrifying and misunderstood phase of human evolution, the dark night of the soul, specifically triggered by Kundalini awakening. There is a narrative sold to us in spiritual marketplaces that awakening is a linear climb into bliss. We see the white clothes, the serene smiles, the love and light bypassing. But anyone who has actually invited this energy into their spine knows the truth. It is not a gentle stream, it is a forest fire. The dark night is not a mistake, it is not a detour, it is the surgical procedure required to remove the lens of ego through which you have viewed reality. Today we are going to walk through the anatomy of this unraveling. We are going to look at the mechanics of why you feel abandoned by the divine, right at the moment you are merging with it. We are going to learn how to stop fighting the fire and instead become the wood. Let's dismantle the first trap, the myth of effortless enlightenment. Social media has done a disservice to the concept of Kundalini. It is portrayed as an aesthetic, a lifestyle choice, or a superpower that you unlock. But true Kundalini rising is a biological and energetic imperative that demands the total upgrade of your nervous system. When this energy moves, it hits every blockage, every repressed trauma, and every lie you have told yourself to survive. And what happens when high voltage hits resistance? Heat, friction, fire, the discomfort you are feeling, the shaking, the insomnia, the sudden intolerance for small talk, the collapse of your career or relationships. This is not a sign that something has gone wrong. It's a sign that the energy is working. Most of us operate like a thermometer. We just reflect the temperature of our environment. We want the environment to be nice so we can feel nice. But Kundalini demands you become a thermostat, an energetic sovereign who holds a frequency regardless of the conditions. But to get there, the old machinery has to go. This is why the love and light narrative is dangerous. It sets you up for failure. It makes you believe that if you are suffering, you aren't spiritual enough. That is a lie. The intensity of your struggle is often proportional to the depth of your restructuring. After the initial euphoria, the honeymoon phase where everything feels magical, the real work begins. I call this the unraveling. This is where the ego realizes it is on death row. And the ego, my friends, does not go quietly. It kicks, it screams, and it bargains. You might find yourself plunged into deep confusion. Who are you if you aren't your job? Who are you if you aren't the helper, the victim, or the spiritual one? This dismantling of identity is visceral. It feels like a death because in a very real sense it is. The neural pathways that held your old personality together are being pruned. You may experience a sudden loss of interest in things that used to define you. The ambition to succeed, the desire to socialize. Even your spiritual practices might suddenly feel dry and empty. This is crucial. The universe is stripping away your crutches. Every time you try to grip onto an old identity, you will feel the burn. It feels counterintuitive. Our instinct is to grip tighter when we are falling, but the practice here is somatic softening. I spent 20 years trying to reinforce my walls, thinking that if I built a strong enough spiritual identity, I would be safe. But Kundalini doesn't care about your walls. It wants to flow, and walls block flow. So, when you feel that identity crumbling, don't try to zip-lock it back together. Let it shatter. The discomfort you feel is just the friction of your attachment leaving your body. Then we arrive at the void. If the unraveling is the fire, the void is the ash. This is the point in the journey where you feel suspended in nothingness. The old world is gone, but the new world has not yet arrived. This is the most dangerous time for the spiritual seeker, because the mind hates a vacuum. You will feel profound loneliness. You might feel like God has abandoned you. The silence is deafening. In this space, your shadows will surface. And I don't mean shadow work, like journaling for 20 minutes on a Sunday. I mean the deep, visceral terror of unresolved trauma stored in your fascia. It rises because there is finally enough space for it to be seen. You might feel a terror that has no name. You might feel grief that belongs to your ancestors. This is the paradox. Vulnerability is the ultimate armor here. If you try to fight these shadows, you give them density. You make them solid. Remember what we discussed about spiritual warfare? Whatever you resist persists. If you treat this void as an enemy, you will be trapped in it. But if you can look at the emptiness and realize that you are the awareness witnessing the emptiness, the game changes. You are walking naked into a storm. It feels terrifying, but I promise you the storm is only dangerous to the things that resist it. If you are porous, if you are like smoke, the wind cannot hurt you. It blows right through. This brings us to the necessity of leaving performative spirituality behind. In the dark night, your mantras might stop working. Your gurus might seem like they are speaking a foreign language. The spiritual frameworks that used to comfort you will collapse. This is terrifying, but it is necessary. You are being weaned off external authority. As long as you are looking outside of yourself for validation, even spiritual validation, you are still a child. Kundalini is forcing you to grow up. It is forcing you to find God not in a book, not in a video, but in the marrow of your own bones. You have to face the void directly, without a buffer. This is where we move from intellectual understanding to direct realization. You can read every book on non-duality, but until you sit in the terror of your own annihilation and realize that something remains, you don't know it. You are forging a diamond. And diamonds are only formed under massive pressure. This isn't about looking holy. It's about being real. It's about finding that part of you that cannot be burned, that cannot be lost, and that needs no protection because it is infinite. So how do we emerge? We don't force it. We don't manifest the end of the dark night. We surrender to the surgery until the operation is complete. Slowly, subtly, the light returns. But it is different now. It is not the manic, euphoric light of the beginning. It is a quiet, steady, sober light. It is the light of a nervous system that has learned to hold a higher charge without short-circuiting. You will find a new sense of clarity. You will discover a self-trust that is unshakable because it has been tested in the fires of your own hell. You stop looking for external validation because you can feel the truth resonating in your own body. This is the alchemical shift. You haven't just survived the dark night, you have integrated it. You are no longer afraid of the dark because you know that you are the light that illuminates it. This is the end of duality, the collapse of the us versus them mentality within your own soul. The war is over. I've shared the mechanics of this descent, but the ascent is your own to walk. I'd love to hear from you. Are you in the fire right now? Have you felt the dismantling of who you thought you were? Share your experience in the comments below. Your story might just be the key that helps someone else find the courage to put down their armor. You are definitely not alone.